back, everyone, to Paranormal Ripples. I am Ray, and this is Abandoned Legacies, episode 12, would you believe? Yep, 12. And this episode is dedicated to a ship that was explorer that was like go hand in hand, basically. The ship there was is the Crest, which you might know is quite famous now because it's got recently discovered again after being like lost for years and years. And explorer that goes down in hand with the Crest is Sir Ernest Shackleton of County Kildare, Ireland, who passed away on the ship famously. Well, infamously, I should say, not famously, infamously. So I'm going to be discussing this the Crest, Sir Ernest Shackleton. His expedition, which was the Shackleton Rowett expedition, which was in 1921 to 1922 when he wanted to go to the Arctic, I believe. There is so much history here with this ship. So, right, I'm going to show you first, everyone, the expedition, and then I'll get the article for the ship was found. First thing first, here we go. This is on Core Antarctica. So you want to go to Antarctica? Yeah, go to the Arctic. Yeah, as well. So yeah, here's the Crest. Look, Shackleton Rowett expedition, 1921 to 1922. So they had Harold Arthur Argles, who was a stoker and joined at Rio, Roderick Carr, James Dale, George Douglas, Erickson, Charles Green, Leonard Hussey, Douglas Jeffrey, Alexander Kerr, Dr. Alex Macklin, John B. Mason, James Marr, Dr. James McElroy, Thomas McLeod, Norman Mooney, Christopher Nesbitt, G. Ross, Ernest Shackleton, obviously, their leader, C. Smith, Harold Watts, Frank Wild, George Wilkins, Frank Wolseley, and S.S. Young. And then I have Query, who was a dog mascot, who drowned sadly. And a mascot, Questy. So, there's Shackleton. This was a promotional picture for the expedition in cold weather gear. As you can tell, the cold weather gear back then ain't as great as it is nowadays. But basically, here we go. This is what happened, and this was a Crest that made the Crest famous, basically. Shackleton had planned to go to the Arctic on an expedition financed by private individuals and the Canadian government. Though they all backed out leaving, the expedition close to collapse when a British businessman and former school friend of Shackleton's, John Q. Rowett, stepped in with financial support. It was now too late for the Arctic season due to delays, and so a program for a very ambitious 2-year Antarctic expedition, including a circumnavigation and exploration, I think, of some little-known subantarctic islands was proposed instead. 8 shipmates from the Endurance expedition signed up for the expedition, along with James Dale, who Shackleton knew from the Discovery. There were thousands of applicants for the remaining places, such was Shackleton's fame by now. There were also 2 Boy Scouts who were selected from the 1,700 applicants for the distinction. There you go. A former Norwegian sealer, the Crest at 125 tons was a small ship, poorly fitted and reckoned to be exceedingly uncomfortable by those who sailed in her. She rolled significantly and moved with the sea, making cooking and eating in particular difficult at times, and she only had a 125 horsepower steam engine, a reinforced bow sheathed in steel, and was to carry a small seaplane that would come aboard at Cape Town. Yeah. Then 2 of the crew, the photographer B. Mason and one of the scouts, Norman Mooney, were sent home because of chronic seasickness, when the crest called in at Madeira. They wanted to carry on, but were unable to cope sufficiently. Even the ardent sailors suffered from the degree of seasickness on there. There you go, look. That's some of the crew before they left for England. Before they left England, look. And there's they when they raised the Union Jack, look. And as you can tell there, look, Mooney was one of the Boy Scouts, as they said there. I mean, largely as a result of difficulties with the engine, a month was spent in Rio, which led to the plan to cross to Antarctica via South Africa to be abandoned. The seaplane would also now be unavailable, so instead the Crest would sail to South Georgia and nearby regions. The constant setbacks and difficulties seemed to take their toll on Shackleton, both physically and mentally, with other members of the expedition noting their concerns in their diaries. And on the 17th of December 1921 in Rio, Macklin, the doctor, was called for as Shackleton felt a slight faintness. It was thought he suffered a minor heart attack, though he refused a full medical examination. The journey to South Georgia, though, was difficult, through almost constant bad weather that threw the ship about. There was now a problem with the ship's boiler. God damn. This ship seems like a gold blue and cursed ship, doesn't it? They would have to wait until landfall before it could be addressed. So Shackleton became more positive and excited as he came closer to South Georgia. The clouds that had followed him seemed to lift. They arrived at Good Viking whaling station on the 4th of January 1922. There's a crest, which is crazy, you know. There's Shackleton with the two Boy Scouts. Yep. Crazy, isn't it? It was to be Shackleton's final visit, though. In the early hours of the 5th of January, Macklin was called to his cabin, complaining of back pain and other discomforts. Shortly afterwards, at 10 to 3, Shackleton succumbed to a fatal heart attack. Well, you sure had that far medical exam, mate. I sat up saying, go on with it. Let me have it straight out, he replied. The boss is dead. It was a staggering blow. Wild's diary, 3 a.m. Sir Ernest Shackleton died so suddenly that he said no word at all with regard to the future of the expedition. But I know that had he foreseen his death and had been able to communicate to me his wishes, they would have been summed up in two words. Carry on, Frank Wild. Now he was the leader, look. The expedition. The news was sent to Lady Shackleton and Rowett. The doctor performed an autopsy and it was coronary heart disease. Which was crazy. Shackleton's body was taken ashore and laid in the whalers' church. Wild planned to send the body back to England, assuming that this would be his wife's wishes. Arcee was to accompany the body, but they reached Montevideo in Uruguay, where a memorial service was held. It was here that the message was received from Lady Shackleton. She felt that it was more fitting that her husband was buried in South Georgia. Why? The Crest had left for the Weddell Sea on the 18th of January, long before Shackleton's body returned. He was buried on the 5th of March 1922 at Great Viking at a ceremony attended by the managers of the 5 whaling stations of South Georgia and 100 whalers and seamen. Arcee was the only former companion present at the burial. Back on board, they reached Cape Town, not even being able to collect equipment and stores at Cape Town was severely limiting what the expedition could do. So Wild, in agreement with other members of the party, decided to explore the Weddell Sea, being determined to carry on. Clothing, stores, and provisions had been obtained from the whalers on South Georgia. The Crest started to meet ice as she sailed further south, the air turning colder and the sea threatening to freeze, as had happened with Endurance. The Crest reached 67 degrees, sending south with indications that they were reaching a continent. As the depth of the sea was increasing, on the 12th of February, though, however, it turned north again as the ship would not survive being frozen in. I still can't get over his wife wanting him buried in over there. You know? That's nuts. Wild decided to check on Ross's possible sighting of land in the Western Weddell Sea, and to visit Deception Island for coal, and Elephant Island for seals and blubber, and then return to South Georgia. Dang. The crest was frozen into the ice from the 15th to the 21st of March, and for a while it looked like they may have to winter where they were, though they were released. Elephant Island proved an emotional site for those old endurances who had last visited it under their very different circumstances about 5 years earlier. A landing at Point Wall, where the men of the Endurance had waited patiently for rescue to arrive, was not possible due to the weather. Landings on Elephant Island, though, are only occasionally successful due to the frequently difficult state of the sea. The crest reached Leaf Harbour, South Georgia, on the 6th of April. The men of the crest built a memorial cairn to Shackleton overlooking the entrance to Great Viking Harbour. They departed South Georgia on the 8th of May for Cape Town, eventually arriving back in England on the 16th of September 1922, where they were met by Rowett. And that was it. Look. And that's the routes they had. The track of the crest. That is nuts. Looks like something wasn't wanting them to do it, didn't it? You know? They like something this didn't want that ship to do it, did it? You know? Wow. As you can tell, oh yeah, and Kenneth Branagh also done a film about him. But 47 he was, wasn't he? No, I said it there, but yeah, he was 47. But that wasn't the last we saw of the crest, apparently. Because it got lost over time. And then last week, this headline came up. Explorer Shackleton's last ship found on the ocean floor. Researchers in Canada find ship where Shackleton died. Where wreck hunters have found the ship on which the famous polar explorer Ernest Shackleton made his final voyage. The vessel, called Crest, has been located on the sea floor of the coast of Newfoundland, Canada. Yeah, it was in Canada. There you go. Shackleton suffered the fatal while trying to reach Antarctica. And although Crest continued in service until it sank in 1962, the earlier link with Explorer gives it great historical significance. Yeah, there you go. The remains of the ship is a 35-meter long schooner rigged steamship, was discovered at the bottom of the Labrador Sea on Sunday by a team led by the Royal Canadian Geographical Society. Sonar equipment found it about 1,280 feet under in the water. Look, the wreck is sitting almost upright on a sea floor that has been scaled at some point in the past by the passing of icebergs. The main mast is broken and hanging over the port side, but otherwise the ship appears to be broadly intact. Crest was being used by Norwegian sealers in its last days. Its sinking was caused by thick sea ice, which pierced the hull and sent it to the deep depths. The irony, of course, is this was the exact same damage inflicted on Shackleton's Endurance, the ship he used on his ill-fated Imperial Antarctic expedition between 1914 and 1910. Unfortunately, though, the crews of both Endurance in 1915 and in 1962 of the Crest both survived. Indeed, many of the men who escaped Endurance sinking signed up for Shackleton's last polar mission in 1921 to 22 using the Crest. There you go. There you go. The new goal was to map the Antarctic islands, collect specimens, and look for places to install infrastructure such as weather stations. There you go. You're just 47. Look. Fucking hell. After his death, so I didn't know this. After his death, Crest was involved in other important expeditions, including the 930 to 931 British Arctic Air Route expedition led by British explorer Gino Watkins, who himself tragically died at the age of 25 when exploring Greenland. Fucking hell. Crest was also employed by Arctic rescues and served in the Royal Canadian Navy during World War II before being turned over to the Sealers. There you go. That's where the crest was found. Right there. That is nuts. Alexandra Shackleton is the explorer's granddaughter. She must be getting on his granddaughter. Bloody hell. And look, a Shackleton's endurance ship was found on the Antarctic seafloor in 2022. That's crazy. Like, that is nuts. You know? There you go, there's a sonar image. It's just crazy. That's what I'm saying. You don't know what is underneath the seafloor, but they've lost so much down the years, you know? It's crazy. Like I said, let's get Wiki up. This dude, 63, but there you go. Done the TV film look, see? About the endurance, see, look. Crazy. He won two though, look. 3, 4, 5, 6 awards. That's crazy. That is crazy though. Like, no. That is nuts though, that they. No, I'm not being rude. Like I was saying, You don't know what is under the bottom of the ocean. One minute you could be just going across it and whatever, and that, and in the next you could be finding something like that at the bottom of it. Nuts. Anyways, leave your thoughts in the comments of what you think. Like, like you know, like you know, um, yeah, just let me know what you guys think. Because it's very interesting that, right? Let me know what do you, like. I believe that might be haunted. I know it's a drastic, but it could be haunted by Ernest. You know, because you don't know, do you? Anyways, let me know what you guys think of this or all of this. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Paranormal Ripples. I'll be back on again in a while, but thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I'll be right. Then I'll be back in a bit. So thank you very much. Take care, everyone. And comment and subscribe as well if you haven't already.